Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well today. I'm in the parking lot waiting to get to a store before I go to teach. Hope you guys are doing well. What is this today? Thursday, I think it's December 15th, 2022. So God bless each and every one of you guys. And hope, like I said, hope the battle is continuing and you're continuing going day by day. Once again, thank you so much. I'm just overwhelmed with the amount of people who are and the Warriors who are contributing. I'm really happy that this is helping a lot of people. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback, a lot of good questions too. Before I get to the questions, let me go give some shout outs. Braveheart 576, Cappy Moon, Tart, I think it is. Thank you so much. Eduardo, as usual. Thank you, Terrence. That was a funny one. San Danog, thank you for yours. Saad Re, I think so. Saad Rev. So thank you so much for yours. Mo Rezi, Hardy Scene. There you go. Giovanni, Dr. Von Life's Investing. You're not alone, my friend. You're not alone. And Cologne X Candles and Tekken God Jets. So thank you guys. I'll do some more tomorrow as we continue on. We're going to do a few, but I had a bunch of different ones here. So let me kind of, we're going to talk today about women's attraction because I wanted to go talk about admissions, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of talk about this one. We had a lot of people making comments. Truth Seeker, thank you for your comment on the Catholic Church. I will go back and look at that. Celibacy, we haven't really talked too much about celibacy from the Catholic religion part of it, and I'll get that into a little bit of that too. And then James, can a man lose days, months, and years? Something that's a really good question. I don't have any scientific evidence for this. This is my opinion, but I will tell you that if you look at the Fountain of Youth book from Kendler, and I look at my experiences over the years, I think I have probably lost days, maybe even years, who knows, over this, because I think that's certainly you losing energy. Now, whether or not, because it takes a while to get that back, how much that is, I don't know, but all I know is that you feel weaker, and I know the quality of the days were not very good those days. So the days that it did happen, most of those qualities days. So from that standpoint, I'm not sure longevity wise the effect. I mean, I'm sure it probably has a negative effect. I mean, I would agree with you there, James. I think there's a negative effect. I don't know what that is in terms of days, months, years, but I do the quality of life. There is a big effect in that. So I think that certainly I did not feel very good after those days that it happened to me. So call higher at 2022. Cats are all over you. Yes. The energy is unbelievable. You're exactly right. I have 4 cats at home, and as soon as I come home, they're all over me all the time. Even when I'm sleeping, things like that. And they sense the energy. They actually want to lay on you or close to you because they sense the energy. And I think that they come and they want to be with you because they sense it. Dogs sense it too. I got 2 big dogs, and they sense it too. So I think you're exactly right. It's that energy level that they're picking up on. Subtitles, Sundan Ang. I can't say that right. Sorry about that. But Son, yes, you are right. I'm going to go ahead and try to do subtitles. I haven't gotten a chance to do that yet. I think that when this break is I'm almost done with the break with with grade and everything for the break. I think I'm going to go ahead and kind of work on this channel a little bit and work on subtitles and work on maybe trying to get a bigger picture and things like that too. So I thank you for comments. I mean, it's getting to the point. I think we have like 1,300 subscribers, so that is wonderful. All right, so let's go talk about our topic today. We're going to talk about something that who was it? Let me see if I got this. Bineet Katati. Now, maybe I said this wrong, so please, forgive me. I do the best I can with some of the names, but I'm not always sure, especially if they're different languages and things like that, so I try. But the warrior asked, is women's attraction a trap by nature? So very good. Now, I have other ones I want to do too. I probably should do an introduction to semen retention again, because I think we have a lot of newer people who just joined the channel over the last few weeks, and I think I'm going to do that. Maybe even do that tomorrow. I'll hold off on the technology and the nocturnal emissions probably until next week. So hang in there, guys, for that one. We have a lot of other ones as well here. David Judah's got one that I want to get to. Eduardo, Peace of Joy. Feeling of peace and joy. We're going to do some of those other ones too. And SB made someone about your true nature. So there's a lot of good ones here, but I want to kind of focus on a few of these today. But I will do an introduction to semen retention tomorrow. Okay, so don't be fooled by quick success when releasing in semen retention. That's one I want to focus on today. Also, is women traction and trapped by nature? That's true. I mean, I think that's something to look at. And then also I want to kind of go back to a couple other ones that we focused on here. Is Eduardo also mentioned, why is having multiple women dangerous on SR? He mentioned that a little bit too. And so all these kind of come together in the thing we're talking about. So let's kind of focus on this a little bit. So we talk about women's attraction. What are we really talking about again? So I'm going to combine a little bit of this back to semen retention. So when we talk about semen retention, we're really talking about your energy. As Call Higher at 2022 stated, cats, animals, other types of beings sense your energy. It's all about your energy. And the more obviously you keep your energy, the more of a warrior and a man you're going to be. I think certainly anybody thinks about this logically, if you really assume and believe that we are made of energy and that you lose energy, I mean, of course, the energy you lose could be transferred into a child. So just sensing that and seeing that, you understand every time you release, your chance to have a child. Now, obviously, you're not going to have a child when you're doing it, at home by yourself. With a woman, you never know. You don't know what's going to happen with that energy you have. And when you have strong energy like that, you can actually accomplish a lot of things, because if you keep that within yourself and you learn to transmute it, the key, my friends, is transmuting it. You can let it sit there, and actually you'll start getting frustrated if you don't do something with it. You've got to do something. We talked about the deep breathing, putting a thumb in your nose, breathing in, breathing out when this happens. But whenever you get excited, now we talked the other day about you must have sexual energy. So you have to build that up as time goes on. But if you're not attracted to women, you're not going to have that energy level you should have. So it's a two-edged sword. You're going to be attracted, but you got to learn to control it and to transmute it. So when we talk about the fact that, quick success, this is a key thing, because what happens to people is that they get so overwhelmed with so much energy, and I feel the energy day by day. It's growing all the time. You get to the point where a release is something that we've been told we should do. I think that's now totally inaccurate, but that's what we were told for years. And so when you release, all of a sudden you get this good feeling for a few minutes. Then I start feeling guilty after that. And that's what happened several times over the years. And so I couldn't understand why that was the case. I'd feel depressed, anxious. A lot of these things would get to me that are not getting to me now. Level of stress level is so much different than it used to be. And when we talk about joy and peace, I think Eduardo talked about that. That's absolutely true. But don't be fooled into a seduction here. And this goes back to the topic that Bineet was talking about here. You don't want to get fooled. This is kind of a trap. Go back to the Adam and Eve type of situation. It's a tremendous analogy of life. You have to be careful of what other people are offering you, because this is kind of an illusion. And what I mean by an illusion is that it's not really real. And if you think, if I think I'm crazy, whereas try to look at a woman or a situation without the makeup, without the glitz and the gold, and look at it for the natural situation it is. And you'll see that it's not really that attractive. You're being attracted, and this goes back to the energy level, you're being attracted by the fantasy most of the time in your mind about this. And so when Bineet asks this question, he's asking a real good one, because it does in many ways take you off your goals. Many warriors, if left with a situation where they could go ahead and just attain goals and do, they would be fine. Yes, of course they would need companionship at times, and of course they would need to procreate at times. However, it's not at the point where all you're wasting your time doing that. Those are for lesser warriors, who I would call beta warriors, not really warriors, pseudo warriors, who really are not at the point where they can control themselves and lead and dictate the situation. You're in charge of the situation. The more you can control yourself, the more in charge you are. If you can't control yourself, others will, and society will. And all you'll be doing is reacting to what society's doing. If you're controlling yourself, now you control more things. Now, you obviously can't control everything. God is controlling everything. But you're controlling some things about yourself. And if you control yourself, you tend to control things around you much better. But this temptation is there because the idea that the evil one, who's behind a lot of this, using people, by the way, I mean, people are not bad in themselves. I mean, a lot of times you shouldn't be judging people, in my opinion, because people do sometimes get caught into situations. They get taken over by spirits and things like that, and so they do things. But the thing is that you have to not get involved in that. You have to avoid that. You have to try to stand up against that and not get involved in that temptation and see that, because the idea is to try to bring you away from God. And obviously the whole thing we're doing here is getting you close to God. That's what I believe happens, and I've read lots of people's stories about this, is that they continue feeling closer to God. And I'm at 920 some days at this point, 28 days, and I do feel a lot closer to God than I ever have. So, and I think it's probably just going to grow and grow and grow. But the idea then you're talking about is the temptation that the evil one wants to bring you away from that into their own life, into the depths of hell, and get away from all that. And that's the whole thing that you really kind of gotta get away from there. So they want to avoid that kind of stuff. So back to some of the points here. Don't be fooled because you're going to have quick success when releasing, because you're going to feel good for a few minutes, but then all of a sudden that's it. Now you start going back into that bad pattern. So don't be fooled with that at all. I do think that the question that Eduardo brought up, do women deserve energy? Well, the way it is, my friend, is to basically kind of look at then the focusing on the idea that you have the energy. Now, you can provide that energy to somebody, but remember, you're looking at your total goals. If that goal is having that woman in your life in a marriage or a relationship, then that's a choice you make. But women, not multiple women, and I think Eduardo says this as well, you don't really want to have multiple women, because multiple women will confuse you too much and distract you away from your goals, especially spending all kinds of time with that. Having several relationships, things like that, makes it very difficult. So that's why I say that you have to be very careful about how many women that you get involved with. I would stick with one, because this way you're going to focus all your energy on that one person, and you're not going to spend time wasting with other people. And that goes back to our whole thing about retention. You want to make sure you're keeping that and using it in the right purposes. See, I fully believe a lot of warriors, if they're bent on conquesting goals and going out and ravaging, goals and visions and things that they have, they're not going to waste time on women. And I think unless there's a purpose behind this, then I would make sure you realize that. It's only when Napoleon, worried more about Josephine and all those things that he started falling apart. Now, yes, the love of one woman can motivate you, and having that one woman, that's a little different story. That husband and wife come together and they form a bond, and that's that's what God wanted. But not this whole thing where you're just going around releasing your energy to other people all the time, and you're not really forming any kind of bonds with anybody. It's all peripheral. It's all physical types of things, and those type of things will kill you. And that's why you really, as Eduardo says, you shouldn't have multiple women. And the women deserve your they really want your attention, but do they deserve your energy? I think that's going to be your choice. I can't answer that one right or wrong, but all I can tell you is that be very choosy on who you pick and those type of things. So going back to Bineet's question here, is women's attraction a trap by nature? Well, let's look at nature for a second, and I'll refer to nature as God. And so when you look at God, and is God putting a trap together? I think it depends on how you look at the situation. I think if you have self-control, it's not a trap. You see it for what it is. Women, if you look at this, and I think DSM Tech said this, if you look at the situation, you're really talking about women who by nature know that they want to mate. And if you think women are not involved in that process, I would kind of tell you to kind of think outside the box a little bit and think about who's really controlling the situation, especially young women who need to find them to have, if they want to have children, how to find a mate. Women really are the ones making the choices, especially in their 20s. Now when they get a little bit older, they don't have as many options, and so what ends up happening is that then they kind of settle, but they're still looking for that man who's going to provide and protect, because they just are not physically strong enough in many cases. And so basically because of that, they need to have those strong figures around. And a lot of research obviously shows too, if you don't have a male and female around, the child has problems growing up. They don't have a male role model. They don't, and so they become very beta in orientation. We see a lot of that in our society as well. So the thing is, you have to realize that procreation is part of life, and women are going to go by the biological nature and look for, chase down in some cases, and I don't mean physically, I mean just kind of go after men that they really want to mate with. And that's a subconscious thing. It's not something you talk about. It's something that's not above the level, but it's there. Now you have to realize as a male, you are the choice. And so people will choose you. Maybe lots of women will choose you. And you have to stay cool under pressure as a warrior and stay with your goals. Don't focus on this stuff. Focus on your goals. Because the whole key to everything really is working towards God, not working towards women or those other things. Focus on your purpose, focus on your goals, and those other things will be flattering. They might end up in a relationship with somebody, but once again, don't take those too seriously. And I know we talk a lot about women's attraction because I know a lot of our warriors are interested in that, especially between the ages of 25 and 34. But I will tell you from experience that you want to make sure that you have someone that's going to help you with your goals. I don't care how good looking they are when you see them originally. And remember, a lot of it is also makeup, dress, how people wear clothes, seductive types of things. Those things are all part of this. You want to call it a trap, you can call it a trap, but it's just the way life is. Females, because they're physically and not strong enough, they're not going to come and just take over men. There may be some out there to do that, but they're not going to just do that. So they're going to find other ways to get the man interested and to get the man chasing them until obviously she catches them. So the thing is, what you really want to do is you want to kind of focus on being that person who's very choosy and pick the right type of person to be with. Don't focus on just picking anybody just because you can go ahead and have some intercourse with anybody. You can do that with anybody you want to. You can, and that's something that that doesn't serve a purpose. What's the long-term purpose? All right, my friends, time to go. Have you guys have a great day. Thank you for everybody once again. Eduardo, great comments. Bineet, thank you for the comment for this one as well. Eduardo as well. Thank you, James. Thank you for everybody these shout out to. I will go back to some of these a little bit later, but I wanted to kind of get these out there. And I'm going to do an introduction to semen retention tomorrow, just to kind of go over the whole principle again so people see that. All right, guys, until tomorrow, God bless you guys. Have a great day. Remember, every day is a new day to a wise warrior. God bless you guys. Take care.